Welcome back to SportsLine here on News Channel 5 Plus. We are having an absolute blast talking with two of my favorite guys, Crazy Charlie Saunier, the leader of the Renegades of Puck, and of course Impact Wrestling star and hockey enthusiast, hockey player Eric Young. We're talking about not only the Stadium Series game between the Predators and the Tampa Bay Lightning, which comes up a week from Saturday at Nissan Stadium, but also a day before the Homebase Freakout event at Tailgate Brewery that these two are hosting. It's an all-ages event. What time does it start? 8 o'clock?
Starts at 7, and it'll go on until the Renegades decide it needs to end.
Yeah, it's an all-ages affair. You can go. There's no cover. You can just come hang out. You can meet Eric Young. You can meet Crazy Charlie. You can meet, like you said, some of the folks from Bally, some of the people from the Preds, former Preds. I mean, if you're into hockey, or if you're like me, you're just into having a good time, this is where you want to be. I'm so excited.
Those are the two type of people that we're trying to cover. Are you into hockey, or you don't care about hockey and you just like to have a good time?
I'm excited. I'm excited that you two are putting this event on, and I couldn't be happier for the two of you. And I know this is a passion project for both of you guys. And it started right a couple years ago when we were all in Dallas.
Started in Dallas,
right?
Brain Dead Brewery. And JB, can I break some news right here with you on SportsLine?
Whoa, yes.
Can I do that?
Stand by for breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
The Homebase Freakout will not only be the greatest tailgate and hockey celebration that we've ever seen here in Nashville, but that night, going on sale for the first time ever, on tap and in cans, the Renegades of Puck's first ever beer.
Give it up.
I have wiped the award shelf clean, JB. Traffic Reporter of the Year, Producer of the Year, gone. Making room for the brand new Renegades of Puck talls that will be sold at the Homebase Freakout at Tailgate Brewery on the 25th. JB, I would love nothing more than to share a Renegades of Puck brew with you at the Homebase Freakout.
Well, consider it done, because you and the rest of the Renegades did me a solid, made me a beautiful, I should have wore it tonight on the air, made me a beautiful custom-made Renegades of Puck jersey with my old high school number 32 and my name on the back. Those that follow me on Twitter at Jon Burton 32. So I remember I came into work one day and there it was sitting on my sitting where I
Renegade
do the show.
Courier Service, man.
It was
Congratulations,
amazing.
Renegade 32. You're sitting next to Renegade 8.
That's right.
Yeah, we all got
Believe
our
me,
numbers.
and that's been, and if you don't mind, just a couple seconds.
Absolutely.
Rebirth Sports helped me with that promotion, and they made me 40 customized jerseys for the 40 VIPs, celebs, and guests and friends that I put on the list, and they gave those to me to give to each and every one of you.
It's an honor.
To help grow the show, help grow the brand, and to get some of the grooviest hockey jerseys you've ever seen out there in circulation. That's these jerseys right here. So those 40 that were made, John, and I told you this before the show, are the only versions that you will ever find that say Hockey Trench Warfare. We have officially changed our logo because the Renegades of Puck have no need to fight any longer. We're in a post-war era.
The battle has been won.
The Homebase Freakout is our victory celebration. We have survived the long, great hockey war. Hockey Trench Warfare is over, Jon Burton. We are now friends and allies with everyone in this city and everyone in the hockey community.
All beefs, all past beefs have been squashed, right?
Every single one of them. You may not have seen my face or heard my voice a whole lot in the last 6 months, but behind the scenes, I have worked to fix many, many wrongs that I have committed throughout my career. 27 years now. You're going to make a few mistakes along the way, and you're going to hit a few speed bumps. I've corrected almost every single one of those, and for those of you that I haven't gotten to yet, believe me, I will be coming along soon to go ahead and fix that. Please, come join me and celebrate the Homebase Freakout. Let's shake hands, let's hug, let's have a beer, and let's put the past behind us, building bridges from the trenches, because there's no longer a need for any of us to fight. We all have the same passion, we all want to cover the same thing, and we all want the same thing, to be part of a parade down Broadway that ends at Riverfront Park when we can all clink cans with a man named Stan. That's what we're all trying to get to, and anything that gets in the way of that is simply noise, and it's not necessary. So everyone out there, if we've ever had a run-in and it's ever been a negative one, please give me a second chance. I'm burying all beefs, and I'm welcoming all of you to the Homebase Freakout. I hope to see every one of you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can vouch for this guy right here. Like I said, I worked alongside of him for well over a year, and obviously EY is one of my favorite people in the world, not just professional wrestlers. So no two better guys than to really bring the hockey community together than these two right here. All right, well, let's talk about the Predators. They haven't won since the All-Star break. Lavi and the Capitals came in and beat them last night.
700th victory for Peter Laviolette.
Yes.
Congratulations,
and
Peter Laviolette.
And I really liked Peter when he was here. Listen, I never played for him. I never worked with him. I never worked for him. But from a media standpoint, you know, I was a big fan of Peter Laviolette. He's the coach of record that brought this franchise this close to the brink of the Stanley Cup. What do you see from this team, EY? Stumbling out of the gates a little bit. A great start, but since the All-Star break, they haven't found a win yet.
Yeah, I think we're ahead of the curve. I mean, I think anyone being honest with themselves, and I think that would include John Hines, David Poyle, and the team, this team is way farther ahead than anyone thought they were going to be, me included, Charlie included. So there's some wiggle room. There's definitely some wiggle room there. I'll say the game with Washington, I think I'm a psycho when it comes to hockey. Like, I'm recording 4 games right now while we're sitting here because hockey's happening. I'll go home and I'll watch all 4 of those in succession.
That's awesome.
From my DVR and be up very, very late by myself, watching hockey like a lunatic. But what I will say, I watched every second of the game, and anybody that knows anything about hockey or doesn't know would say that the Predators outplayed them almost completely.
I mean, how many posts did they hit last night?
It was, I want to say, I was trying to count in my head, and I think it was probably over 8.
Yeah, I was going to say 6.
Look, it's going to happen. You know, bounces are part of luck. Lady luck is part of hockey. But this last night was not their game. This is a very good team. This is a very well-coached team. A lot of people were really hard on John Hines. When he came in, I was not one of them. I was one of those people saying, give him a chance. He's won at every single level.
Because it was such a tough situation. He came in middle of the pandemic.
Very tough.
You know, mid-season.
Can't coach anybody.
Work stoppage.
No practices.
Yeah, the work stoppage due to the pandemic. I mean, I think he's done a tremendous job.
When it came to John Hines, JB, yes, he was completely behind the curve when he first came in because the inability to sit and talk with players really set him back. But you notice, since things have eased up a little bit and the teams come together, come back for this season, I think John Hines has done an incredible job. I may have disagreed with his original hiring, but now that I see him, first of all, the first thing that jumps out at me immediately, how good and thorough he is at answering questions to the media.
Very honest.
He gives you his assessment, and he also gives you his philosophy, which makes it a whole lot easier to understand what you're seeing out there when a coach is willing to share his thought process with you. But now, coming into this season, I think that John Hines, and E, you said it best, man, 4th place in the Central Division right now. Most pundits were picking this team to finish 7th, and whatever pundits were picking them to finish down there where the Arizona Coyotes are, who have 28 points this season, please let me take over from here. I'll hands. The team is playing above expectations right now. 4th place in the Central right now, only 1 point behind 3rd, only 3 points behind Minnesota for 2nd. The Colorado Avalanche were always going to win the Central Division this year. The fact that they're running away with it should not be a surprise to anyone at all. And they're going to get even better because they're going to add, they're going all in this year, and they're going to try to face Tampa Bay in the finals of the Stanley Cup and try to win it this year. But what's going on with the Preds right now? John, do you remember the very beginning of the season? 1-4. They look bad. We were real worried. A lot of us were real worried. This is going to be another one of those type seasons like Barry Trotz's last 2 seasons. They came out of the Christmas/COVID break very slow. Couple of games, they didn't look very good. Got tuned up, things got going in the right direction. Now they come out of the All-Star break, 3 losses in a row. They don't look very good. Things don't seem to be going their way. I think that right now, since they were supposed to have almost the whole month of February off for the Olympic break, these rescheduled games are the only thing that's going to make the Stadium Series game and possibly Pekka Rinne's Jersey retirement night game that much better, because the Preds are a system team that is built on energy and attention to detail. When they get out of any of those modes, having a week off, having 10 days off, it disrupts the way John Hines and the team. You notice, and this is something that I know you watch a lot of hockey, so you would know this. Head coaches rarely, if ever, play their starting goaltender back-to-back nights. Never when they have to travel between the back-to-back. John Hines does not hesitate to run UC Saros back. You have 18 hours between games and you have to travel. UC, get out there and handle the business. He believes.
He's been great, by the way.
Unreal. Vezina finalist, without a doubt, and we'll come back in studio to talk about award season. I'm booking myself. But that is absolutely it. I think after these 3 games that we just saw, you start to see the attention to detail coming back. You start start to see the physical play, the cycle, the passes getting better. Look, a half inch left, right last night, and it's
they
a
did
totally
play well
game.
last night. You're right, Eric. Both you guys are right.
And they have the Carolina Hurricanes, a team they played 14 times last year, one of the classes of the entire league, as their next opponent. And that could be just the smelling salts this team needs to get themselves fired up and going, because it doesn't get any easier after Carolina.
Sure. I will say this. I went to my first game in person a couple of weeks ago. I believe it was the Vancouver game. They won 4-2. I got to tell you guys, that was my first time seeing Tanner Jeannot play in person.
Beast.
I still can't believe this guy wasn't drafted. This guy is an absolute horse. You talk about a classic, big, strong, two-way power forward in the National Hockey League. This guy's a future MVP candidate, I think, Eric.
Yeah,
I mean, this guy's I love Tanner Jeannot.
It's hard to believe, and where he's sitting at in statistics and points and goals, and a guy that doesn't play on the power play. And I think he had one goal in his junior year, his last year playing before the NHL. A really good buddy of mine, Jeff Merrick, works for Sportsnet.
Yeah.
He's the godfather of hockey of all things.
Oh yeah, he's a great
Canada.
Yeah, if you're a hockey fan, he's a great follow on Twitter, right?
He's a great follow, and he always says this when they bring it up on his podcast or on TV, saying every time he would talk to Dale Hunter said, "You gotta see this Tanner Jeannot kid." He's like, "He's got one goal, Dale. I'm not interested. He's not going to play in the NHL."
Right.
And here we are. And I like it, definitely from last March. The biggest reason I would say is UC Saros' play. A guy that I wasn't sure could be a starting goalie, and it just came down to geometry for me. He's short. After looking at Pekka for 12 years, it's hard to look at him in the goal and not notice how short he is. Yeah. But he has been unbelievable. He's definitely in the run for the Vezina. And that fourth line, third line now, the Herd line, it started Olivier, Sissons, and Trennan. And then when Olivier got hurt, Jeannot came in and has never looked back. Olivier's a good player, and Jeannot has not given them a reason to put him back in the lineup. That's the engine that makes this team go. When they're on the ice and that energy is flowing and they're playing important minutes and important face-offs, the Predators are hard to play against.
Think about it, fellas. Last year, the team had more injuries than they had ever seen, and they had to rely on a whole bunch of players.
They're like the Titans this year.
Yeah. Right. And they didn't think they were going to have to rely on those players, and they didn't know what to expect. The Herd line comes together, and then suddenly the team took off last year late in the season. That's why they made the playoffs. That's why they faced the Carolina Hurricanes in the first round of the playoffs. It was specifically because of what just said, how the Herd line came in and just took over and has dominated. And that right there allowed David Poile to take a step back and look at his team and say, there are expensive veteran pieces that I can move out now and move to the youth. He likes to call it a hybrid rebuild, but when you have Trennan, you have Jeannot, you have all of these other guys. Alex Carrier is not discussed in any terms right now that he should be. He has come in as a rookie defenseman and slotted right next to a Norris Trophy winner in Roman Josi, and there is no drop-off. No. That was Ryan Ellis's spot on this team for years, and there was no drop-off. I loved Ryan Ellis as a player. I liked him even better as a human being. Yep. But his contract, his play was replaceable. And unfortunately, so was Victor Arvidsson and others. Because you see,
that was kind of more of a system team.
With the freedom of movement now, and trying to have Duchesne and Turris and having 5 centers play, it made no sense. And now that you've cleared it up, look at what you are bringing back in. You have Duchesne having his best year as a Predator. You have Forsberg, who's going to break every single scoring franchise record, goals this year, and probably points in the next year or two once they get that big max contract backed up to his front door. And I do believe that David Poile will
Poile did say
I do believe that happens.
Locally this week on the flagship that he feels good about getting the deal done, which is great, because if you're the Preds, you can't let this guy walk.
Did he say that with Chase, Darren, and Donick?
I believe he did. Good buddies of mine.
1-2-5 the game.
Yes, they do a nice job there.
Like those guys.
We try to do a good job here. We come back. We're going to talk a little professional wrestling. All three of us have spent time in the ring. Eric, of course, only one of us is a multi-time world champion. But we're going to talk a little wrestling, our experience, what Eric is up to at Impact Wrestling as well. And we're just having fun here on News Channel 5 Plus in studio. Crazy Charlie, Eric Young, and you back after this.